Hello, everybody. I am Alexander Casey. I am a white, bald man with a brown beard and like clear round glasses. I'm wearing a corduroy button up, and behind me is a cat tree, and I think a robe is hanging up on my board there. So for today, I'll be reading an excerpt from my novel In Progress, Till Kingdom Come. The book begins with Ervan, an immortal wizard who has been waiting for his lover to be reincarnated for the last 1,000 years after his death. In hopes of finding him, but not knowing what he'll look like in this lifetime, Ervan is telling the story to anyone who will listen, including in this scene the bartender. I was born in the lower village beneath Giant's Bluff, in a little house that once stood where the pub now rested. It was colder then. Every 7 months, the waters thawed just long enough to wet the throats of our parched potato fields and flood the village well. This harsh weather, frozen days, and frigid nights made us a people prone to hoarding. Baskets of root vegetables enveloped the kitchen floor, and berries, sealed in glass jars, stacked so high before the windows that they blotted out the Aegean sky. This is my first memory, peering past raspberry glass to find the castle on the hill. I think you must have known, even then, my mother would say, but that comes later. When the midwife pulled me from my mother, she called me a girl, yet this designation did not last long. I don't remember much of those early days, but my mother tells me that from the moment I could speak, I made my identity known. If I had known before that, if I had a name before that, one my mother chose before she'd met me, she has never said. She speaks only of that day in late winter when I sat in her lap, my tiny fingers helping to the pages of her father's storybook, and pointed to a painted sorcerer in a sea of green light. Me, I said. And so I was, Eravan the sorcerer, Eravan the mystic mage of old. When my mother tells the story, she always begins the same way. I thought nothing of it, she says, until you lit your crib on fire. In her tale, it's dark, wet night, the sort that leaves the windowsill frozen and the floor is damp. No matter how hard she tried, my mother could not light a fire in the hearth. When the flint ran out and the wood all soaked through, she cried out loud, begging the wood to light, just light, and as if by magic the fire listened. It did not, however, catch within the hearth, nor was it the stack of battered wood that the fire consumed. As my crib burst into flame, my screaming mother plucked me from certain danger, only to find that I was unharmed, giggling and squirming in her burnt hands. My mother has other stories, stories of melting icicles on the laundry line or slamming doors she swears I did not touch. But when I try to recall those early days, I see only a crowded village, a cramped house, and a foggy, snow-drenched woods. Mostly I remember staring out the window, gazing longingly up the hill. In all my recollections, my life begins the day we moved to the castle. Thank you.